Hello everyone and welcome back to Every Other Saturday. So today's video we're going to discuss upcoming fixture at Fir Park against Motherwell. So we kind of distance in between the last video, guys, so I do apologise about that. Games are a wee bit far apart now, so squeezing a video in there is going to be a wee bit of a priority for me. See if I can get something out to you guys to watch in between the breaks between the longer games. So as always, guys, if you haven't done so already, get right down into that section below, get a wee like on the video, a wee comment, keep it kind of active and stuff like that, get a wee subscribe on there if you haven't done so already. Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a wee shout out to Dylan Sargent. He's managed to get us a wee present just to keep us in line with the coronavirus rules, so I'll just be putting my mask on. Give me 2 wee seconds. What do you make of that now, guys? If you can't get a better smile than that on a mask, what can you ask for? So thanks again, Dylan. All the money from these goes straight towards Chris Boyd's charity as well, so always good to keep us going. So let's not waste any more time now, guys, and get fired straight into today's video.
Every other Saturday's my half day off, and it's off to the match I go. Happily we wander down the Copeland.
Right, guys, let's fire straight into Motherwell and have a wee look to see exactly what we'll be up against on Sunday. Now, they're not the greatest run of form at the minute. They've not managed to pick up a win there since the 24th of October, so they're not doing great at the minute. They've picked up 4 draws, I think 7 defeats in that time. So morale, everything like that, sitting a wee bit low. Now, they've changed the man at the helm. They've brought in Graham Alexander, I think his name is, and he managed to take the helm there on Saturday, and he took it, I think it's away to St Mirren. Now, they were doing well. I think they did well for a long period of the game as well. They took the lead in the first half, but they've managed to unfortunately lose the win. Sorry, they drew the game, but they lost that win there to a late penalty decision. I don't think it was a great penalty decision as well. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it didn't look as if it was the most convincing penalty decision. But they've got that kind of shot in the arm that you expect a team to get when they get the new manager in. So that there can go one of two ways. They can take it and they can run with that, or they can kind of just fall by the wayside a couple of weeks or something, and then back to normality, and the change of manager doesn't really do anything. But we'll see exactly how they fare against us and things like that, and what exactly they've changed. I don't see them changing very much. When it comes to players and stuff like, you've obviously got Trevor Carson, their goalkeeper, still out, so you're playing with Liam Kelly in there. He's keeping his position, and I think you've got Declan Gallagher, who's a possible maybe to start. I mean, I think he's a big player for them, but with the whole contract carry on and not actually signing off on it and stuff, it's a maybe whether he'll play or not. But we'll see exactly what we're coming up against on Sunday. Now, speaking about those defeats and stuff like that and that bad run of form, one of those games was the Rangers game at Ibrox. Now, for 73 minutes of that game, they had us. They were leading 1-0. Now, we hadn't got anything to the game until 73rd minute. Do not get me wrong, after that we kind of took control of the game and we won it comfortably, but it took to the 73rd minute for us to break them down. It shows you that they've got a bit of a backbone about themselves. It's not exactly going to be a straight up walkover just because they're on that wee kind of run of form. We still have to do what we need to do. We need to turn up, we need to play the way we have been in the last few weeks. Now, being brutally honest about myself, looking at that last video, I feel as if I may have just been a wee bit hypercritical of the team. And I don't want to be that way, because we have been playing well and stuff like that, and I don't want you thinking that I was being overly critical. I think now, looking at what we're going to be coming up against in a team like Motherwell, I don't see them having enough. Specifically when it comes to the forward play, I just don't see them having enough to take anything from us. They're going to make it difficult for us to break them down, I'm not going to deny that, but whether they've got enough to actually take anything from us is a big if for me. I can't see it. All in all, I feel as if they're going to be a decent enough defending team for us. They've got everything there to stop us getting the goals and keeping a tight kind of shape, but breaking down, I think once we get the ball rolling, and I think once we hopefully get the first goal there, I think that's enough, and the snowball will continue to keep going. Now, with all that being said, let's turn the attention now and start talking about the most important part of the video. Let's talk about the famous Glasgow Rangers. Now, last week seen us get to the 21 points clear stage. Now, it was 22 at the time of our game, but Celtic get their draw that they needed to kind of try and keep some points up and dropping. So this is exactly what we're talking about, keeping that pressure on Celtic and making sure that when we do the hard part and we make sure that we get our 3 points, then it puts all the pressure on them and they make sure that they have to get those 3 points. They had their own problems and their own reasons why they didn't get those 3 points, but we'll leave that to their videos to discuss. We're not here to talk about them. But as I say, it took us to 21 points clear. It was also our 21st win of the season, which is always what we're looking to see. Ironically, we also won 2-1, so it was kind of a lucky 21 for us last week. So it's taken us into this step where you're seeing things changing for the good. Now, as I say, I'm not being hypercritical of them anymore. I feel as if I was in that last video, so I want to hold my hands up and say I apologise about that. But I feel as if what we're going to do is we're going to come out and we're just going to show exactly what we need to do. This 20-minute spell at the start seemed to be disappearing now. You've got Alfie scoring goals again, and I see good things happening now. We're talking about bringing in signings in January. Don't get me wrong, not exactly marquee signings of millions and millions of pounds, but that's what I like to see. These signings seem to be a wee bit more in the way of sensible this time, and everything's going well for us. And again, keeping that momentum going, number one priority for me, and I think we've got everything to be getting on with. One thing that does fill me with a little bit of confidence is the sheer fact that all we need to do is keep this momentum going and winning every game up until the Old Firm. And if they drop 4 points, it gives us the opportunity to get that big trophy and win it at Parkhead. Now, I'm not getting carried away. The league is not finished yet, not by any matter of means. Maybe a couple of weeks and it might be, but the league's not finished yet, not by any matter of means. So we have to focus, we have to make sure that the 3 points come first. But we've played that well this season, we've done so well that we have the right to be that wee bit more confident. There's no two ways about it. Being a confident Rangers fan isn't a bad thing this season. And the way they're playing, everything that seems to be transpiring after every game, the confidence is there. So will we win that league at Parkhead? I mean, I think it would just be the cherry on the cake for just how bad a season that they really have had this year. But getting back to the game in hand, now we've had a wee bit more time to prepare this time, so we've got a wee bit more of a boost to our energy, I believe. We've had time to settle back down, there's no instant run of games. Don't get me wrong, some people will like that, we're keeping momentum going, as if you're not getting time to let anything drop, you're always on the ball, the next game's just round the corner. But I feel as if we deserve this wee break just now and get back to normal. I know it's not an actual break, it's just the distance in between the two games, but it lets us settle back in. Even a silly thing like getting a bit of time back with the family is enough to let a player's mind settle back down and not putting too many minutes in the legs for too many of these kind of players that need to be monitored that wee bit better. And getting over to talking about players, we'll move over to our injury list. Now, looking at Steven Gerrard's presser, we're not seeing anything that we're kind of overly worried about. Ryan Jack might not make this game. He did mention that there's a possibility after today's training sessions. The presser was today when I filmed, but after today's presser, we'll see exactly what he's like after the training session's by, and we'll see exactly where he stands. I don't think we'll see him. I think we'll just put him back in the side when he's ready, and monitoring that injury has to be a priority for us, and we don't want him back just for the sake of it. Let's make sure he's back when he should be. On the other hand as well, we also have Kemar Roofe and Scott Arfield, who won't make the game either. Injuries are stopping them getting back, but they're on the road to recovery. They'll be back training, they'll be back ready to go, and they'll be put back into the side as and when they're ready. Now, one other thing that kind of stepped out for me was Gerrard's starting to talk about Edmondson a wee bit more in these last couple of pressers now. Does that mean that he's kind of in the back of his mind and there's a chance that he could be thought about being playing soon, getting into the kind of playing squad and seeing exactly where he stands? Now, we're not seeing anything about Jordan Jones, so it is a possibility. Don't get me wrong, he did mention that George Edmondson has just had a sports hernia and he's had an operation to fix that, so he will be out for a couple of weeks. But I feel that also rules him out from moving away, and I just don't think he's going to be letting George Edmondson go. Again, the two of those players, I feel as if Edmondson's got more of a kind of career at Ibrox, so there is a chance that he is just in the back of his mind to be thinking about coming back in. Possibly by that time, when it is mathematically impossible for MD to catch us, he'll be coming in and getting some minutes and making sure that he gets back into the way of playing and not overthought and just disappears out the playing squad altogether. And of course, we have Katic on the long-term injury list that we expected to hear anyway. But other than that, I don't see the squad being very different at all from what we've been looking at. I think we'll just maybe see a couple of changes from bench to first team, just to maybe change the legs up and give people time on the park. But Gerrard will do that where the player's merited, and if it's needed. Just don't see it happening for the sake of it. It'll happen if it's needed and merited. One player I do see making a bit of a change this year, and I will say that in the Facebook chat there that I did get pelters because I'm mentioning now that I feel that 2021 might be the time that Alfie turns the screw and we start seeing more and more of the old school style of goals and the old school style of high press play from him. I did get the pelters for Ross McKenzie, and I do deserve them because I was his critic. I'm not going to lie, I was a Morelos critic, but I'm not taking those comments back at all, not by any matter of means, but I do feel that 2021 might be the time that he does just turn the corner and he starts getting the ball back in the net. So cheers again for calling us out in that, Ross, but yeah, I do think this will be his time. Getting back to my favourite kind of part of the videos, we're going to jump straight over now and we'll get to the score predictions. Now, I put the post up on Facebook and a lot of you guys got involved, so thank you very much again for that, but we'll take a quick look and see exactly what people are thinking. So first of all, the classic channel legend Scott McFarlane, he's going to go for a 1-0 win with a Kent goal. We've got Anne McDonald going for a 3-1 win. We've got Ross McKenzie for a 3-0 Gers win. We've got Peter Graham again, 3-0. We've got Ryan McLeave, as always, just wants his 3 points. I love the consistency, big man, thank you very much. We've got Ian McNair going for 2-0. We've got Willie Burns, once again, turning into a channel legend himself at 5-1. And we've got Dylan Sargent, the man himself that donated the mask to me. Thank you very much for that, big man. He is going for, not bothered at all, he just wants his 3 points. So, thanks again for everybody getting involved with that. It means a lot, it really does. I know it's a small enough channel, but I like to see people following along, getting involved in the social medias to try and get involved in the videos. It's brilliant, so thanks again for that, guys. Myself personally, I'm going to go for 2-0. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Rangers, and I'm going to go for Alfie, and I'm going to go for Tav. I reckon that they'll be our 2 goal scorers, so fingers crossed I'm right this time. But in the last couple of weeks and stuff like that, I genuinely seem to see that Scott McFarlane's picking these selections and it seems to be coming true. So whether I should be putting a wee 20 quid on a 1-0 win with a Kent goal, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. So as I say, guys, thanks again for everybody getting involved in Facebook and stuff like that. It does mean a lot to me, it really does. But I just want to touch on one thing that was mentioned in the Facebook kind of chat there about Willie Burns mentioned the fact that yes, the 3 points is important, but he likes to see some goals coming in. And to be fair, I do agree with that. I do. We need to see the goals coming in because it gives us that other edge to the game. Yes, we want the 3 points, but we don't want grey hair by the end of it, thinking, Christ, are we going to get the goal in? So a couple of goals in these games does make it settle down a wee bit, and we will get them. We will get them, but I think we'll need to wait and see exactly just what team will turn up to these matches, because sometimes we do have to grind out the result towards the end of the game and make sure we get the 3 points across the line. But as I say, I do agree that we need to see some goals. But again, Alfie's turning the screw, and Ross, once again I will say it, sorry again for giving Alfie pelters, but yes, I do think 2021, just you watch this, Morelos is getting his goals back. So all in, guys, that about wraps up today's video. So thanks again for everybody getting involved in Facebook and stuff like that, getting the likes and the shares and stuff, and subscribing if you haven't done so. It really does mean a lot. I want to get out there. I want to get as much attention on the videos as physically possible. 100 likes is not 100 subscribes. Sorry, it's not going to be a big task. I think we can get there by the end of the season, whenever it finishes. But if you could give us a wee like and a wee share and stuff like that, and a subscribe if you've not done so already, would mean the world to us and get us out to as many people as possible. So as I say, I won't keep you any longer than I have done already, but this here has been every other Saturday, and I'll see you on the next one.